The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
And 3, 2, 1. We're live. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and we are taking over, interrupting your regularly scheduled office hours presentation for a very special occasion, our Black Friday branding crash course. I am so grateful. First of all, that's me on the left, Nick Liebman, head of content here at Powtoon, and I'm very, very grateful to Dan Nathan, head of customer success, joining us today from warm and sunny London, England. And I want to thank you for letting us crash your office hours party today with the branding crash course for Black Friday. Dan Nathan, are you on the line?
I am on the line. Warm and sunny England, I would not say is how I would describe it currently.
Fair enough.
But it's definitely England.
I love it. And I'm so glad you're joining us again. Thanks again for letting me have a little fun here. Normally, office hours is a chance for any Powtoon user to join, learn a little bit more about our platform, and ask any questions they want. We're still going to have question time coming up, but we're also going to go through some awesome information here. Let's talk about what we're going to learn today. First of all, we're going to just take a few minutes to go through what makes a brand so powerful. What makes for a powerful brand? What are those components that make it up? And why is this relevant to if you're not a marketer, if you're not out there trying to market a brand? Why is brand identity important? Why is having a powerful brand so important? Then this is the fun part. We're going to dive in. Dan Nathan, you're going to take us hand by the hand into the Powtoon Studio. You're going to show us how to build your own brand book. How do you take those elements that we talked about, bring them down to earth, make them actionable inside the Powtoon platform? And then we're also going to talk about building a custom branded character with Powtoon's new character builder. And we're going to have time for that live Q&A everyone loves so much about office hours. We'll take your questions live. Any questions about branding, any questions about the capabilities that we show you in the studio, we are here for you. Plus, stick with us until the end. I promise you will not regret it because we have an exclusive Black Friday deal. Dan Nathan, I don't know if you've heard the scuttlebutt. I don't know if you've heard the rumors across Powtoon recently, but this is a serious deal. I mean, this is a really amazing deal, a lot of value in it. You guys cannot miss it. So we're really, really excited to bring you all of that. But first, here's the question. What makes for a powerful brand? We're going to take a few minutes and go through those components, starting with colors and font, right? We know, perhaps we don't know it at the top of our minds, but we know inherently that in a brand, the colors they use, the fonts they choose have a real impact. And I've just pulled some examples here, ones that we would all recognize, and Coca-Cola is one of them. Dan Nathan, do you drink Coca-Cola?
I've known to have a glass or two before in the past.
Me too. Love Coca-Cola. It's delicious. It's happiness in a bottle. And part of the reason why we connect with it so much is the power of that brand. I fell down a little bit of a rabbit hole looking up all of this information. And I found some quotes here, some information about the origins of Coca-Cola, the branding decisions they made. When John S. Pemberton created the formula for his new drink in 1886, his partner and bookkeeper Frank M. Robinson suggested the name Coca-Cola, thinking that the two C's would look well in advertising. Here's a quote from Robinson, quote, "The colors used in the Coca-Cola logo are red and white. Both are pulsating and simple in design, which makes the logo appealing in the eyes of youngsters. The font of the logo is printed in white with a vibrant red background. The white swirl of the logo stimulates the passion and zeal of the youth today." So, old-timey language aside, right? They were trying to reach the youth demographic. You know that they were thinking about the colors, the associations, the shapes in the font that they're using, even the name and the alliterative feeling of Coca-Cola. So those were all considerations in the Coca-Cola logo. I would say it's been very successful. They practically own the color red. But what about a more contemporary example, right? Airbnb when couple of years after they launched, were looking to refocus their brand, to rebrand, and thinking about it in terms of their values, connecting people passionate about travel with people passionate about their home and their community, right? Uh, Airbnb dropped the dreamy blue and white colors for a color that reflected passion, emotions, and love, but without the aggression of a pure red. The light red color that they chose represents the brand's values and is supported by a secondary palette of colors featuring bold shades of purple and teal, named after and inspired by streets in cities around the world. And they choose a more approachable font, right? All of those brand values embodied in the fonts and the colors that they chose. But it doesn't stop there, right? There's also logos. Logo simply is some kind of graphic trademark, right? Some sort of image that appears with your brand. Apple is, of course, a very famous brand. I think something like more than 1 billion people on this planet walk around with an iPhone in their pocket, right? And as you can see, the logo from 1977 onward has been fairly consistent. We have a little bit of this diagram on the right shows how the shapes and proportions are determined. That's actually using something called the golden mean, which is a naturally occurring ratio, that 13 to 8 or 8 to 5 or 5 to 3 or 3 to 2. And they incorporated that in their style. So it's something that resonates. It sort of reflects nature, is a little bit timeless in that way. And with that timeless design through the years, they've been able to reflect trends, right? Design trends. So they've got a coherent identity from 1977 through today, but they're able to, with color and with a little bit of depth and things like that, always update their logo. Another thing to note here, sometimes decisions for logos are made not necessarily for any particular reason other than something very functional. For instance, why does this apple have a bite taken out of it? It's a little hard to see the small image there, but their original logo for their first year was like a lithograph sketch, and it showed Sir Isaac Newton sitting under a tree with an illuminated apple above his head, but a full apple. The graphic designer who worked on Apple's logo said the reason why they included the bite was so that it would continue to appear like an apple and not, say, like another piece of fruit or a cherry or a berry, even at small scale. So there are other considerations, functional considerations, that logos consider as well. What about characters? Characters are so powerful. And this is something we're really aware of here at Powtoon, especially since our new character builder has been live in the product, because we're hearing from tons of Powtoon users about how valuable it is to be able to customize a character, customize it with their brand, and use it as a part of their visual storytelling. These are just a few examples of characters, and they all have a slightly different way of connecting with brand identity. Like, for instance, we'll start with the Pillsbury Doughboy. What I love about him is he kind of embodies Pillsbury's product, right? He's soft and squishy, just like their biscuits. He's very approachable. Like many of Pillsbury products are box products or products that have some pre-made component to them for the crowd who's intimidated by starting from scratch in their baking, right? Their product is approachable, just like this little guy is approachable with a huge smile on his face. And of course, his signature hee hee when you poke him in the stomach, maybe that's a bit of like embodying the feeling we all get from eating a nice warm pastry, right? Let's talk about Disney for a second. Mickey Mouse as a character is one of the most recognizable characters in the world. And he was one of the original Disney characters in one of their earliest shorts, right? So his presence there is about sort of being at the core identity of the Disney company, being there through the years, right? And being instantly recognizable. I know that when I was a kid, Disney was a huge brand for all of us, and that love affair with Disney continues into adulthood, right? Disney Plus is a huge player in the streaming world, and there's all sorts of reasons why they remain relevant, why their brand remains powerful, and why Mickey Mouse is an amazing character. Finally, let's talk about this character, the Geico Gecko. God, I really love him. He's really a little bit different from these other characters. He's not tied to the history of Geico. Geico's been around for, I think, nearly a century. Someone can correct me in the chat there. But so he doesn't go back to the roots, and he's not necessarily. I don't know what he says about car insurance per se. Really, he's kind of just a play on the term Geico, gecko, the same consonants involved, right? But his character that he plays in the ads, he's approachable. He's very matter of fact. He speaks with a British accent. He is interested in why do something complicated or difficult when you can just save 15% with Geico. And he really embodies something that is the opposite of every other car insurance, right? It's not complicated. It's not a bunch of boring paperwork. It's this friendly little colorful gecko. And he's speaking common sense, right? Why do things in a difficult way when you could just save money with Geico? But all of these characters have one thing in common. Characters help tell a more powerful and a more memorable story. And they're an amazing way to visually connect with an audience. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. Now, I know what you're saying. I'm in internal communications. I'm in L&D. I'm in HR. I do recruiting and onboarding. I don't understand. What do I need to worry about a brand? That's marketing's job. That's not my job. Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about employer branding, a way to infuse your company's brand into the content you're creating to recruit new employees and communicate with the job market, to onboard those employees once they start, for internal communications, and of course all the L&D and training content that you're making. We're going to take as an example here Heineken. Now, we all know Heineken, but what we might not know unless we did a little research is that they've actually been recognized for the strength of their employer branding efforts. One of their initiatives is the Go Places 2.0 campaign. It's an exchange program for Heineken employees to work in another part of the world. They operate in more than 65 countries. And we're going to watch actually a Powtoon that the Heineken team created, specifically the global procurement team, to talk about their participation in this program. I want you guys to pay special attention. It's just a couple of minutes. Look at the fonts, look at the colors, look at the logos that they're putting in there, even some of the actual clips from actual advertisements for different brands in the Heineken family, and how well they're connecting that brand identity to these employer values. Now, this will just take me one moment to load up. And again, this is created using Powtoon, and it's incorporating all of those elements of brand that we've been discussing here. And here we go.
Working for Heineken means working for the most international brewer in the world. We brew more than 250 beer and cider brands, and we are active in more than 170 countries. Working for Heineken means working for a world-class company with exciting people adventures. It is about passion for quality, with people and environment being right at the heart of our business. In Heineken Global Procurement, we believe in impactful learning journeys, investing in our people and creating exciting opportunities for career progression and development. What better way to offer this than by leveraging our global scale and offering our talents temporary assignments across the world.
In my short-term assignment in Sierra Leone, I developed my skills on people management, leadership and procurement in developing countries. This enables me to further grow my procurement skills and support others to increase the value to our company through procurement for the rest of my career.
During my internship, I got the opportunity to bring my studies into practice. It also offered a great opportunity to the start of my career in a well-known multinational company.
I am thankful for having the opportunity to live in Jamaica, working for the region, and feeling connected to the procurement team. Thanks.
Here in procurement, strong connections are key. We are able to learn, to have fun, and to fully develop as part of the Heineken global family amongst familiar, friendly faces.
I am proud.
I am grateful.
I am Heineken Green.
So as we can see, there's a message to the market that Heineken, yes, that Heineken, is a global organization that invests in the growth of their employees and the power of that brand that they've worked so hard to build with the broader marketplace is now infused into their recruitment and into the esprit de corps of every employee across the organization. So it's a real success for employer branding, and just one example of how powerful that can be, even in procurement, internal communications, training and L&D, HR, IT. It really doesn't matter what kind of work you do. There's always a place to leverage the brand. I also want to just say here quickly that Joel Zulo and Mark de Guzman on the chat did a little bit of fact checking for me. 1936 was when Geico started, so we're just shy of a century. But I really appreciate the fact checking on there, everyone. I also want to let you know that the time has come. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done with our primer. We understand all the components of a brand. We understand why it's relevant, whether you market a brand externally or whether you're communicating internally. And I'm just going to hand the presentation over to Dan Nathan, who's going to join us live in the Powtoon Studio and show us how to build a brand book. And we're also going to dive into Powtoon's new character builder, and we're going to customize a branded character so you guys can see exactly how this is done, how easy it is. Dan Nathan, please take it away.
Fantastic, Nick. Never mind a Coca-Cola. I think after this, I'm going to have myself a Heineken. So welcome, everybody. We're looking at the Powtoon Studio here. So Nick has covered the components that make up a brand, the fonts, colors, logos, and branded characters. So let's take those components and incorporate them into a brand book inside the Powtoon Studio. So essentially, all your branding components are in one place. Here's one I prepared earlier using the Starbucks brand. And essentially, we've done this by using, basically building a slide. So let's build this from scratch and show you how it's done. We're going to open up a blank slide here, and let's name our slide, and we'll call it Starbucks branding slide. I'm also going to change the color of the background here to a common gray that's used throughout the Starbucks brand. It will also allow me to see all the elements of the brand book inside here as well. Okay, so let's talk about colors. So inside Powtoon, you can actually load up all your branded colors. Again, as Nick alluded to keep that coherent visual identity solid and consistent throughout. Now, it may well be the case where you have some branded colors that you want to use inside your Powtoons. So if I just move this around here, so we're going to load up just some text, just copied and pasted some text here. Very easy to add text into Powtoon, add a text box through here. For the purpose of time, I'm going to do it on here. And we're going to load up the Starbucks white. Now, you'll see something here called a hex code. Very interesting. So what is a hex code? Essentially, a hex code is, well, quite simply, it's a 6-digit code used in computer applications to represent colors. So it may be the case where you yourselves have got a branded color, and that color will have a hex code. Once you know that hex code, usually from your branding guidelines within the organization, just simply pop that hex code here into the box, and you'll be able to save that within your palette for time and again. Now, the other great thing about Powtoon is you can actually filter through all the different sort of standard colors here, and you'll notice that there's a hex code that appears for every single one. And with regards to coloring, you can even use our color our color picker here if you like, which basically will allow you to adjust the colors you see to match your branding. Perhaps maybe you're starting up a new brand and you're looking for that color that you want. So if you find the right color, you'll see the appropriate hex code here, which actually you can use for external assets outside of Powtoon if you want as well. But here you'll be able to find all the options that you need for the color picker. We're gonna stick with the Starbucks brand. We're gonna use the hex code white, which is 6Fs, and we'll line up the next Starbucks color here, and this one is a black color, which is also used throughout Starbucks. And in terms of black, I have saved that hex code. I've got it here. I'm going to enter into Powtoon. This will be the last time that I need to do that. And if we select the black color here for time, we'll see that it is indeed all the zeros. Let's pop open another color and save it to the brand book. Now, actually, Starbucks have a very interesting color called Watercourse. Indeed. And according to Starbucks branding guidelines, the hex code for that is 067655. Now, I want to add that into my color palette here. So what do I need to do? Here, I'm going to add into the color palette 067655.
Boom.
And we can see, there you go, it's saved there. And if you click on my colors, you'll add it there to your color palette, and away you go. Okay, let's move on to, again, now, approved fonts. This is really cool. So inside Powtoon, we have approximately, I don't know, about 60, 70 different fonts that you can use. However, if you're an agency holder and you have the agency plan with Powtoon, or even a business plan, you can actually upload your own custom fonts. So again, if you've got those, as we call it, TTF or OTF fonts from your branding team, your marketing team, it's very important that you keep that branding consistent throughout. You don't want to use any old font. Well, if you've got your approved fonts, upload it very simply into your font palette, and you'll have it available for you time and time again. For the purpose of time, I've already uploaded one of the approved fonts that Starbucks use, I should say, and that is where are we again? That is, the Santana Black font, and I'll even change the name of it accordingly. Santana Black font. Now, that font is saved. It'll be saved always in my account for me to go to whenever I want to use that font, and we'll also change it to black. It's all Santana Black, so why not? Okay, and then finally, we will add in here some approved logos. And here we go, approved logos. And again, for the purpose of time, I'm just going to upload one logo for the time being. The logo, I've already added it into my computer. Whoop, there it is, the Starbucks logo. Bit of advice, when you're using or when you're uploading logos into your Powtoon brand book, I suggest you use ideally a transparent logo, because when you place it on backgrounds like here, you might even want to upload it onto custom characters, which I'll show you shortly. You won't have any white borders around it. It won't look out of place. It will look very professional. Okay, we're going to just stick with that for the time being. When your brand book is finished, and note, when you've finished your brand book, you don't need to upload any more colors. You don't need to ever again upload any new any logos. It's already here available for you inside the brand book. The beauty of it is every time you go in and create that new piece of content, you don't need to try and fish around your computer or wherever, SharePoint, Google Docs, to try and find those approved logos. It's available for you here inside the brand book. When you're ready and you've created that brand book, head over to Save Current Scene at the top right here, click on that, and that brand book will be available for you forever inside your My Scenes folder. And it's worth noting as well, if you have colleagues maybe that you're working with, you can also, through the workspace, also, by the way, sorry, I did that very quickly, but this is the brand book that I've just created. You can send them a copy of that Powtoon as a template. Just pop in the email address and it will send it to their workspace as well. However, if your company has a business account with Powtoon, you can actually pre-upload all the approved fonts, colors, and logos for everybody in that account, so you don't need to send this brand book to anybody. So there's the brand book for you. Okay, one of the other elements of, or the components of branding that Nick's alluded to earlier, was our customized character builder. So inside Powtoon, we have probably one of our, I would say, Nick, one of our most well-received new features we've had in the last 12 months, I would say, in Powtoon, and that's the editable characters inside Powtoon. We've heard some great feedback from our thousands of clients who advise us that this editable characters have basically been able to help them with their visual storytelling and deliver their message, their narrative in an emotional and more immersive way. So check out this character editor. We're going to head over to it. We've got 3 families of characters: Cosmo, Rhapsody, Boho. Let's open up Cosmo. It gives you a choice of 6 characters to use from. Like all our other characters inside Powtoon, we have a host of customized poses that they can use. For the purpose of time, we're going to choose this character here and just add that one to the slide. Here we go. You'll notice it's an editable character. It has a little red dot here at the top. Let's pop open that character and see what options we have for that editing. Okay, so first of all, you have a choice of clothing. You can actually redress this character. We have options for both male and female, different layers of clothing, top, bottom, and shoes, and different layers for the tops as well. So for the purpose of time, let's go ahead and playing around with this. Maybe we don't want a base layer, we just want a t-shirt for this character. And like with all our clothing, you have the option of changing the style of clothing and the color of clothing as well. Same options with the bottoms, several different items of clothing you can use, as well as changing the color of the pants. And we have some shoes options for you as well. It's worth noting actually that this character builder is actually in our beta release, which means in the coming weeks and months, we'll be releasing more and more clothing options for you. However, if you are an agency or a business customer, you'll notice that on several items of clothing, you've got the option here through this little image here, this little nugget, you're actually able to upload your logo onto this item of clothing as well. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Again, like before, try and use a transparent background where possible. So a transparent JPEG or PNG file would be perfect. For the consistency of clarity, for consistency, we're going to continue to use the Starbucks logo. And here we're actually building this character into a barista. Why not? And we can see the Starbucks logo on the t-shirt there as well. Even more exciting with our character builder is the option to actually edit their face. Again, if you're an agency or business customer, you'll be able to do this as well. We have for men and women different sizes of the face, and you'll also notice that you have the option of changing the skin tone. Now, this is something that we released based on feedback we got from clients. Your organization may have guidelines, may have requirements in terms of diversity and inclusion. So it's very important when releasing content, whether it's for marketing purposes, whether it's internal communications, that your messaging is consistent and relative with your workforce, perhaps. So you'll want to demonstrate the diverse workforce that you have as well. So you can do that using Powtoon. We have the option of changing the hairstyle as well as the hair color, some different eye options. You can also change the color of the eyes and nose, mouth, and so on. We're going to finish that character for now. Yes, we're happy with that character. Looks like, okay, so maybe not on the pants there, but looks like a Starbucks barista. Let's load up this character. Now, this character will be stored for you to use time and time again under my characters, which I'll show you shortly. And because you've used the character builder and added the logo on, you'll notice that the logo will move dynamically with the pose of the character as well. So here's the character welcoming you into a coffee shop, perhaps. We can head over to images, maybe click on free images, and let's find maybe a nice coffee shop image to add. And you know what, let's do it from the background actually. Let's head over to background, add free image here. Ooh, let's look for a coffee shop. Here we go, and let's just pop that one in there. Why not? And there's this nice character welcoming you to the coffee shop.
Beautiful. And Dan Nathan, I just want to dive in and mention, first of all, we've got a few questions coming in, and we're about to jump into question time. So if anybody else has questions, please do put that right in the questions box, and we're going to be able to get to it in just a moment. In addition to the branding benefit that we spoke about for characters, I think also you brought up something really important, showing diversity and inclusion, that as a company value, being able to show that, demonstrate that in the content you're creating is so important, not only for the sake of, like you said, maybe perhaps adhering to guidelines and wanting to have a coherent visual narrative, but also because you want to connect with your audience. You want to connect if you're speaking to employees in different places, or you want to speak to different markets. You want to be able to have characters that your audience can instantly resonate with, and all of those different options means that you basically have an infinite variety, from characters that are more kind of representative and not as literal, through characters that really look like depictions of actual real life skin tones, cultural backgrounds, hairstyles, clothing styles, all of those sorts of things. So it's super, super powerful. And yeah, the feedback that we get from the clients who are making good use of this feature is really overwhelming. And I can't wait. As you said, it's still in beta. We're still adding functionality. We're still getting feedback from people. We're still perfecting it. So the more folks out there who are making use of the character builder, who are using branded characters in their communications, the better that capability is going to get as well. Dan, Nathan, I'm just going to leave the presentation with you for a moment, but I do want to get to our Q&A. It's Q&A time here. We've only got a few minutes left. I know we're trying to make it at the half hour here. We might be a little bit over. So I just want to run through some of the questions that came in here. So one that David wanted to know, and I think maybe this is less about the exact features we were covering here, but a little bit more about the presentation. Is it very easy to stream video into the presentation? We are using a Powtoon presentation. The video you saw was streamed over the webinar platform that we're using, GoToWebinar. So always when you're doing this sort of thing, you want to make full use of the capabilities of whichever platform you're using. Sometimes it makes sense to do that within the Powtoon as well. One thing I might say is you can import MP4 videos and use them as the backgrounds of slides. And you could, for instance, import that video that we saw, and it would simply be the next slide in the presentation. For functional reasons, we did it through the platform, the webinar platform that we're using, but it's always an option either way with Powtoon. There is always a way to incorporate that. And it's also a best practice when you're doing a virtual meeting, a virtual event, or a webinar. You want to break things up. You want to have slides and static images. You want to have some animation, and you also want to have some video in there too, just to keep people awake. Tina Underhill has a question. Once you create the brand book, when you create new videos, will these colors default? Will those colors be the default? Dan, Nathan, is it set up to do that, or what are some other ways that this is helpful in terms of the next video or visual project you work on in Powtoon?
Great question. So it's a great question, Tina, actually. So once you've created your brand book and you've saved, and this is important, once you've saved also those colors here by simply clicking my color to your palette, these colors will be here for you to choose as and when you need. So by default, it doesn't necessarily change the basic colors up here, but it does give you your own customized palette on every single Powtoon asset that you want to edit once you've created that brand book. So it's important that when you've added those customized colors, make sure you click the plus button here to add them to your palette. A good example to go here is, for example, if I wanted to change, just for the purpose of time, if I wanted to change the background color here, I would simply click on the settings, click on the color, and at the bottom I have my chosen colors. Okay, so it's going to camouflage the other watercourse colors on here, but that is my my preloaded now default color within the palette.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. Another way that, because if you've saved that scene in your scenes, another thing that this is one way that I do things like that when I have a common element I use across different videos. Right when I'm starting, I might just make a blank slide and then put that scene on that blank slide. So I've got it. And then in that project, I can just copy and paste each, the element where I need it to go. That way, if I need text that's going to be the watercourse color, I can just copy and paste the watercourse text down there on the next slide, change the text, and the color's already selected, and I don't need to worry about any of that. So there's a couple of different ways to get at it. Tina, I hope that was helpful in answering that question. We have a question from Danielle Chris. She wants to know, can you use your own characters? Well, definitely, one of the best, Tina says, yuppers, that answered her question. Awesome, so glad. So back to you, Danielle. One of the benefits of designing a character in the character builder is that you get all of those poses. I think there's 27, or I can't remember, maybe it's even more now, different poses or animation sequences for the different characters. With all the customization available there, hopefully that will allow you to create what you need to create. You also, I see here, Danielle, we're asking, can you move the logo? And Dan Nathan, maybe you can just show adjusting the logo size. And then I believe that there are different, shirts maybe have it either on like the breast or centered there. I'm not sure actually exactly if that's changed it. But what I wanted to say about your own character, you could create a character, for instance, let's say you wanted to design, if you have these design skills and these capabilities, you wanted to design a character over on Photoshop, let's say. You could use our Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud extension and export that directly into Powtoon, and it would live in the images folder. So the drawback is it would be basically static, but you can use things like entry and exit animation and the move A to B feature to add some dynamic movement to your static character. So that would be 100% design. The real benefit of having an agency plan or a business plan that gives you full access, and Dan Nathan is showing us how to resize the logo and the impact that it has there. Anyway, that's one of the real benefits to having this, is that it can take tons of time or cost lots of money if you're hiring an outside professional to design a unique character for you. This is included, and the full capabilities are included in the agency plan. So that's why we recommend this. But Danielle, I hope that answers your question on that.
Nick, if I can just quickly jump in regarding Danielle's question about moving the logo. So we have, just using this male character here as an example, we have different placements, if you like, of logo, depending on the item of clothing that you're choosing. For example, this polo shirt here, you'll notice it's very small, of course, but once we zoom in, that the logo appears over the top left breast pocket. If, for example, we're going to choose a sweater, I believe, down here, we'll notice, here we go, that the logo is moved to the center. So depending on the item of clothing you've chosen, you will notice different placement of the logo. And shortly in time, you will actually be able to literally drag the logo to wherever on the clothing you desire.
Okay, excellent. And we got a question coming in here from Dennis Samuel, and he wants to know, what is the best way to add two different voices to a conversation in a video or cartoon project? Is there a software you recommend that we use, i.e. text-to-speech software, or are we stuck with hiring freelancers from Fiverr, for example? Well, this is actually something I've been working on in the background. I hope to have a video out in the coming weeks that specifically goes over voiceover and a few different options with that. In terms of recording a voiceover and doing audio editing ahead of time to create your voiceover track that you would import into Powtoon. If you have a Mac, GarageBand is a really user-friendly, comes free, I believe, with Mac systems, or is free to get. So that's an option. Or there's a product called Audacity out there, which is free audio editing software. Those are ways I might do it. And in terms of text-to-speech, we're attempting to find a solution for that on our end. I know our development team is working on that. So I don't, I'm not sure exactly. They really have much more knowledge about that. But my, instead of hiring a freelancer from Fiverr, I would definitely recommend either you or someone in your organization recording voiceovers. Someone I spoke with recently, a British woman who works with a British company mentioned they've got different locations across the UK, some in the north, some in the south, some in Wales, and this kind of plays into diversity and inclusion. She reached out to people in different offices who have the local accents to do voiceovers for different parts of their onboarding videos. So that was a creative way to have different voices in a voiceover, but also to really touch her target audiences and the different offices in their organization. So, Dennis, I hope that is helpful for you. Let's see. Mark is asking, is there a way to make a custom child character? Are there any pet characters available? So, Dan Nathan, if you would just click on is it basics that's coming soon? Sorry, you're already out of it there, but go back into the editor in the coming soon section. I believe, yes, here, click on gender or body type.
Yeah, so yeah,
yes.
I mean, basically this is something that's coming very shortly, the ability to create custom child characters as well. You'll see here that through the different body types, body shapes, body sizes, body length as well. You'll be able to define that very shortly. This is, by the way, this is just a sort of, how can I say, like a sneak peek into what's coming soon.
Yeah, it's not available yet, but it's coming.
Yeah.
But it's coming very soon.
Absolutely.
So let's see here. Vishwanath Singh, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but please forgive me if I didn't, is asking, are you planning to extend the character customization to Pro Plus users as well? So there's some ability to use the character builder with a Pro Plus plan, but the full capabilities, including the logo upload, is available in an agency plan, which I promise we're just about to say something very important about that you're all going to want to hear. Awesome. And I just want to see here, Mark de Guzman, who was so kind to check my info on Geico earlier. He says, I'm already thinking of shortcut keys, like copying and pasting, like they do in PowerPoint. Can you do this also with Powtoon characters or items? Yes, absolutely. Dan Nathan, you want to just talk about copy paste functionality? In fact, maybe I think under the help menu up top, I think we have keyboard shortcuts, a list of them, don't we? Right up top.
We certainly do. So absolutely. So Powtoon, like PowerPoint, does have keyboard shortcuts. In fact, I was just doing the very same thing, just as an example here. I'm just copying and pasting using keyboard shortcuts. Depending on your Mac, your computer, whether you have a Mac or whether you have a PC, this knows I have a Mac, hence why it's showing me the Mac command key. But if you just head over, if you're on a PC, just head over also to the little question mark here, click on shortcuts, and you'll see all the keyboard shortcuts that will help you essentially create much more efficiently. So, yep, we have that for you, Mark.
There you go. And one last question, which is a question I love to get, because the answer is yes. I love saying yes. So Hubert Stasek is asking, are you guys going to add more effects to Powtoon? The answer is yes, more effects, more capabilities, more characters, and more as we are growing into being a fully fledged visual communication platform. Tons of other capabilities that are important for managing digital chaos and your visual messages. So I thank you, Hubert, for my favorite question. The answer is yes, we're always adding stuff, and Powtoon actually every couple of weeks has an update and a release which includes new stuff. Sometimes it's just a few templates, sometimes it's new characters, sometimes it's full capabilities. I don't know if you guys are aware of, certainly character builder is one thing that's been new. We've also recently put out there a Google Chrome extension called Powtoon Capture, which allows you to screen record and also record face to camera, which is really, really amazing. So I definitely recommend people check. We're going to have a lot more about that in the coming weeks as well. But yes, all of these things that we've mentioned a lot. And by the way, I also want to mention to everyone who's on the line today, you asking, you telling us this feature would be valuable for me and for my organization and for the work that we're doing. That's a big part of what helps us prioritize the work that we're going to do and the features that we're going to release. So please, Hubert and everybody out there, if there's functionality that you're looking for, if there's a feature that you'd like, if there's a capability that would really make it easier to do your job, remove obstacles to your team's success, please let us know. I want to, I'm just going to take over the change presenter and me and show my screen. And here we are. Thank you, everyone, for your patience, and thank you for all your questions. There were some other ones there we didn't have time to get to. I do apologize about that, but please keep them coming. It's time to mention. Here it is. You've stuck with us this whole time. The Black Friday blowout campaign, 68% off an agency plan. This is by far the biggest discount we've ever given for the agency plan. And the agency plan is our most valuable plan. It gets you unlimited access to premium video, stock footage, premium images, premium soundtracks. It gets you full character builder capabilities, including upload logo. It gets you that upload font capability and every template, every asset, every prop, every export capability. It gets you full access, the fullest access possible to Powtoon. And it's only available during this Black Friday season. And I really honestly, I wish we could make it available at this price all the time. I highly doubt it's ever going to be, an agency plan will ever be this highly discounted ever again. This is an amazing time of year, a magical time of year. And I'm so excited to get these capabilities into more people's hands, to make it easier to get to make it cheaper, especially at a year like this has been. I know that everybody is looking for ways to save money, to spend the funds you have wisely. This is something that will pay for itself over and over and over and over again. It would at full price, but at 68% off, you would have to be it's almost negligent not to take advantage of this deal. So I'm just so excited to share that with everybody. I want to remind you that via email tomorrow, you will receive a link to a replay of this training so you can watch it on demand and share it far and wide. You're also going to receive a link directly to that discount deal. So please do take advantage of it. I want to thank you all. I want to thank you, Dan Nathan, for walking us through the character builder, for showing us how to build a brand book, for bringing all of that highfalutin theory down to earth, and for letting me come and crash your office hours this week. I hope I wasn't too much of an imposition. Was that okay?
You know what? It was great to have a day off for a change.
There you go. And I want to thank all of you for joining us. I want to just remind you, Powtoon, the visual communication platform. Communicate differently. Communicate visually. Have a wonderful Black Friday, a great rest of your week. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the United States and in the whole world. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful week.